Yo, look, y'all. Today, we ain't gonna talk about no ultimate team. We ain't gonna talk about no rebuilds. We're gonna take a little detour. I just got home and I folded clothes because the person I told to didn't fold the clothes. But we're not here to talk about my domestic squabbles. That's not what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. What we're here to do is do a little story time for you guys, man. We're here to do a little story time, and I'm going to tell you about the hardest hit I've ever seen on a football field. Now, you have to understand, I think I've mentioned it in videos before, I played some college ball. And once upon a time, I was at junior college in California. Now, when I was at junior college in California, we had a lot of players on the team, but there was obviously one starting quarterback that we picked out way beforehand, just from the looks, from the throwing motion. I mean, this guy had gunslinger, pocket, dead eye, set feet, lead, all the little things you need, as far as abilities on the quarterback. And I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed with the young man at the time. I looked at him as somebody who had a great work ethic. Let me tell you something about this guy. I want you to picture a Utah guy, right? Utah white guy. And Hercules. Put him into one. Now look, I know. I ain't supposed to talk. I ain't trying to. Don't be taking it out of context. Know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to paint y'all a picture. Step back, view the picture. See what I'm saying? So, that's what we was dealing with. Like I said, this is a quarterback that had D1 potential. Right? I'm not even going to hesitate. D1 potential. He could have played at a university that you watch on television. I guarantee it. So, during my first year at this California JUCO, I did not play. So, most of my time was spent observing things. So, we put in this new play in the summer. We put in new plays every week, and it was pretty much, for you Madden heads, PA rollout. Quarterback gets the ball, he rolls out to the right, he looks for an open receiver, he has a backside post, he has a comeback on his side of the field, and then he has the running back for a check down sometimes, right? Now, when putting in this play, coach looks at the chalkboard as he's drawing it up and he says something that caught my attention. I'm not gonna lie. You know what this man said? He made the statement, he said, "We do not block the backside end." Now, I'm not gonna lie, in high school we never had a play like this. You're not blocking someone. But the reason he said they don't block the backside end is because he's never gonna make the play, right? Because the quarterback is rolling out to the right. So that linebacker, that end will never make that play. At least that's what coach told us. So I'm looking at the play and I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat it. Our line was spotty at best, right? So, honestly, they needed to double team the front side. Or the quarterback was going to get sacked anyway and never get the ball off. But as the play is developing, coach is walking us through it. He's saying, this is what you need to do here. This is what you need to do there. He makes a stern pause. And he looks at all three quarterbacks. And he's very clear when he says this. He makes the statement, do not hold the ball. And I just want to repeat that for the people who might have unplugged their headphones, might be way in the back, not really listening to the video, might have thrown some laundry in. I'll come back to the video right now, and I want to repeat it. Do not hold the ball. Don't hold it. Just let it go. He said you got about 3 seconds. If it's not there, throw it away. We'll live to fight another day. Rhyming without even trying and whatnot. So I remembered it. Once again, I'm not playing, so what does it matter if I remember to play? But I remembered what the coach said. I take very special care of remembering things people say 2-3 times. Because if they say it 2-3 times, honestly, they mean it, right? Obviously. That means they're really trying to drive it home, especially people of authority, such as a head coach of a football team. So I heard him, right? Now, we're going through summer camp, and I'm not going to lie. For all the people who have played football, during practice, the quarterback cannot get hit. And I want to be completely honest on my opinion on what that does. It makes the quarterback think he has all day to throw the football. When you're not getting hit in practice, right? In your mind, there's a protective bubble around you. And you just sit there having a picnic. You're picnicking, you're orchestrating, you're running receivers up the field, you're playmaking here and there, and you're really not. They're having a time clock on you, right? So we're going through the summer, and I'm just going to say, for somebody looking on the sidelines, drinking water every so often, I'm looking at the backside end, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's a play that he could make. If it's a fast linebacker, fast end, he could easily make this play. He's not being blocked once again. But as the offseason goes on, we're running the play. Sometimes people open, sometimes people are not. But what I do notice is that T-Dub, the specific quarterback we're talking about this story, I'm not going to use his real name, but if he's listening, he know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So T-Dub, I notice he rolls out and he pauses. Now let's rewind a little bit, guys, for the people who missed it. Coach literally said, do not hold this football for 3 seconds. But T-Dub's back there. He's sitting back there. He's playmaker in here, playmaker in there. And then after about 15, 20 seconds, clearly you're not going to have that much time in a real game. He scrambles upfield for about 5 yards. He does this the entire summer, right? Once again, I was rooting for the guy. To be honest, he's one of the better teammates I've had for the short amount of time, right? And when I tell you this guy's work ethic was relentless. Relentless. Right? Every day, he would get up at 8 o'clock, have himself some oatmeal, go to the gym, come back, have lunch. He had a very strict schedule. He was a prolific athlete. He wasn't just one of them guys with a cannon arm. He had some mobility. In the gym, even at night sometimes, I was impressed by this guy. But we get closer and closer to the regular season. And then you have to understand, at this specific junior college, we started off with 100 players, right? And once people figured out that, I'm not moving anywhere up on the depth chart and I might not play this season, they got the heck on. I'm talking about they got on the first thing smoking and they were out of there. So by the time we get to the season, we down to like 30, 40 players. I'm not even, exaggerating here, right? So coach in the scrimmage before our first regular season game, he doesn't want the quarterbacks to get hit again. Once again, I told you, in the head of the quarterback, now there's a magical force field around him. He's living in fairy tale land where he can't get hit. And the only person that can see this magical force field is him and his imagination. But I digress. We get through the scrimmage. I'm still noticing T-Dub is out there. And he's taking his sweet time. Once again, offensive line is spotty at best. We got a bunch of Alexander Villanuevas out there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why would you take your time? I mean, for the few times I got in to play running back then, I'm going to just be honest, there was no holes. I was really just using my speed to get to the outside because I don't want to get my head knocked off messing with the spotty offensive line play. So, as a quarterback, I would think you would recognize that. He seemed to watch a lot of film. I don't know if he just had it on in the background while he was watching the real football game. But he seemed to always have the film up. So, obviously, he knew what our deficiencies were. Correct? I'm fair to assess that. But as we got closer to the first game, I could tell that his internal clock was just a couple seconds off. And when you play football, you guys know that a couple seconds is a lot of doggone seconds. A couple seconds and your noggin's laying over there near the water jug. You know what I'm saying? So, but I let it go. Like I said, he's my friend. He's my roommate too. I want the best for him. So I assume he knows what he's doing. I'm going to fast forward past the first game. Because obviously, it's not important, right? Because if you think about it, we got blown out the first game. The play didn't get called anyway. So really, there was no way to know that this was coming, right? But as we're getting closer to the second game of the season, we're running this play all week. And I hear the offensive coordinator talking about this is going to be our bread and butter. Right? The bread and butter play that's going to put us in a position to succeed. So every day I see that quarterback rolling out. And every day I'm watching this linebacker be unblocked. And in my head, I'm just thinking that, you know what, if the right linebacker is on that side, I'm going to have to get a nice suit for the funeral we going to have for the quarterback. Right? I'm just thinking I'm going to have to say something real nice to his family, because he's not going to see it coming. And the hardest hits are the ones you don't see coming. But like I said, I digress. Clearly, I believe in his capability to feel pressure. I'm just thinking his practice, maybe he's trying to extend the play a little longer because, you know, in the games, he knows he's not going to have that much time. Right? Now, maybe I should backtrack a little bit. I'm going to tell you guys this. I told you we got blown out the first game. I'm just going to say his performance was not stellar. Okay? He looked a little shaky back there. But it's his first college football game. I give him a pass. Right? I ain't going to, hammer down on somebody. It's the first game in college. Right? Well, we're riding to the next game. On the bus, it's a beautiful Saturday. And we're headed to, I want to say it was Santa Ana, California. Play a football game. Beautiful weather. We're hopping on the bus. Everybody's grabbing their bags. And I hear the coach pull T-Dub to the side. And he looks at T-Dub's dead in his eyes. Looks him in his soul. He's really trying to get a message through. You could tell by the intent on his eyes. And he tells him, he says, when we run this play, I need you to get that ball off. Don't hold it. T-Dub looks at him, smiles, says, yes, sir. And he gets on the bus. Now, I mean, how many opportunities does one person need, right? You can tell from how much I've told you guys at this point. He has been warned multiple times. Get that ball out, right? This is not a time to call the wife and kids. This is not a time to have a Boston Tea Party. This is not a time to be a cross guard in direct traffic. This is an urgent matter. Get the ball off, right? Well, let's just say the game starts. And guys, it's not going good. He threw one interception. Pick six. Had to be on the first drive. We're already down 7-0. The team gets back on the field. He throws another one. Now, once again, I'm not playing, so I'm on the sideline just observing, and I'm like, they got to pull him. You know what I'm saying? He's cooked. And I know 2 picks, But in my mind, if I'm the coach, 2 picks first quarter. I mean, you're on track to throw what? I mean, 8 picks in a game? Did I do that math right? Y'all get me right? Yeah, 8 picks in the game. You threw 2 in the first quarter. I don't like those odds. You start off the game raw. You throw 1 pick. I mean, what are you? Medium rare? You throw 2. You medium well. You see what I'm saying? And then if you throw 3, well, then you're overcooked. You well done. You know what I'm saying? And if you're cooked, we need to get you out of there. Get you off the grill. It's too hot in the kitchen. Take that quarterback out of there. But I digress. He threw 2 picks. Clearly, if you throw 2 picks and they've scored both times, we're already down 14-0. This game is getting ugly. We're not moving the football, right? And the thing is, you don't want to call a rollout on a long down situation because you might get sacked, right? You never know who might shed off the front side. So we haven't called the play at all. This is supposed to be our bread and butter, but the offense is so terrible that coach doesn't feel comfortable calling. It gets to the second quarter, he throws another pick. We at 3. What I tell y'all, he's cooked. He's cooked. You can see it in his eyes. He's shaky. Like he's not feeling confident anymore. That confidence is gone out the window. It's falling like a thing of Jenga blocks, right? But they leave him in the game. And maybe that was the first mistake. Maybe somebody should have gotten the coach's ear and said, hey man, sit him down. But nobody said anything. Plus, we were down to 2 quarterbacks. The starter originally tore his PCL, ACL, MCL, the whole doggone knee. So he's on the sidelines just reading the clipboard. He can't help a soul. And he's not telling them anything. He's not giving them any tips. Because honestly, once he got hurt, he said bump the film. But back to T-Dub. Now, He's thrown 3 picks. The game is out of hand. We're down about 30 points. We haven't scored once. It gets to the last 45 seconds of the half. They kick the ball to us. Kick returner drops the ball. When you drop it, you know them guys are coming down 100 miles an hour trying to put your you-know-what in the dirt. He drops the ball. He gets tackled. And once he gets tackled, we're about at the 4.5-yard line. And as I sit there, I'm looking on the sidelines. I'm like, we're down 30 points. We should probably just run the ball and get the heck to halftime and figure out what the hell is going on. But not our coach. You see, our coach was stubborn. And I figured he thought, a touchdown before half could get us back in the game. Remind y'all, we down 30 points. Y'all do the quick math. I mean, that's 4 scores. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, that's over 4 scores. Like, we're not coming back in this game. This is pretty much over, right? But he wouldn't let it go. So, the backup running back is the kick returner. When we're switching running back, coach give the play to the running back. Starting running back's name, we're going to say is Tone. Once again, we're not going to use real names. But Tone is sitting there. Coach tells him, run PA rollout. Right? Tone says, all right, coach, I got it. He's about to go in. Before Tone goes to the huddle as he's walking off, coach says, hold on. Tell T-Dub you need to get the ball off quick. He says it, no hesitation. He looks at him dead in his eyes. You can see the seriousness. Get the ball off quick. Tone says, I got it. I'll tell him. Now, let's stop the story right here because, now look, clearly there could have been a miscommunication somewhere. Maybe Tone forgot to say that part. Maybe he never heard it because of the crowd noise. Maybe T-Dub was so thrown off by them 3 interceptions, he wasn't really hearing right. Maybe he had lost all his training that he had gotten through the offseason, and maybe he was out there just free balling it. Like when you got sweats, no underwear. So maybe he thought he was in the right. Maybe he didn't understand the seriousness of the situation. Once again, people were on the 4.5-yard line. He has to roll out and his tiptoes are going to be in the end zone anyway. This is not the time to be trying to orchestrate anything. Don't be a hero. Go ahead and throw it out of bounds if it's not there, right? But whatever happened, the play is about to start. Now I'm standing by coach trying to get any PT I can as a freshman, and I'm looking over there at the side that we do not block. And I'm going to put it this way. If you guys watch football, if you ever seen a linebacker on the edge that's about to rush, they are worse than a bad kid with ADHD. They're antsy. You can tell them. Like, you ever seen WWE when Edge is about to spear somebody? And he's stomping and he's reeling his head back and he's acting like a maniac. You can tell when a linebacker is about to rush, especially at this level, because they're getting antsy. And I'm looking at that linebacker over there and he's antsy, man. He looks like he is about to come knock somebody's head off. So I'm looking. Now look. Honestly, I can't blame T-Dub. After you throwing interceptions, your awareness is down to about a 2. You're probably not looking at the uncovered man and how antsy he looks. You're not looking how he's about to end all your hopes and dreams. So, I don't blame him. But what happened next, I couldn't expect. Now, Tone is the running back, as I've stated before, and the goal of the running back on this play is to make sure the edge is secure, and then if it is, he can go on for a little check down route. Now I'm just going to put it to y'all this way. Tone is a running back you love to have in fantasy. You know why I say that? Because blocking's not his thing, getting yards on. So when he runs this play, his intention, he might chip the edge, right? And he's doggone sure not going to look backside to save a life. He's looking at, man, I can get out in that check down. Maybe he's going to dump it down to me, man, and get my yards up and get out of here, right? He looking for a scholarship, right? And our quarterback's been handing out scholarships all day, just not to our team. So what I'm thinking is, you know, Tone, he doggone sure isn't looking for anybody to block. And he figures, shoot, quarterback knows we ain't blocking backside. So he hike. Tone chips the end. He gets to the flats. Now I need y'all to understand something. The flat route is only 4.5 yards downfield. It's not that far. It's literally right in front of T-Dub's face. Right? So when he gets to the rollout portion and he stops and sets to throw the football, if he's going to set up, he should just dump it down. But he doesn't. T-Dub's rolling out, and he's rolling, and he's rolling, and then he stops. And he's looking downfield, and he has that 1,000-yard stare in his face, like he's looking deep into the stars. He's moving his hand, he's directing traffic, he's playmaker in ear, he's being a cross guard, he's orchestrating. What did I just tell y'all? This is not the play for that. He's looking for a home run. Right? That's what he's looking for. He's looking for something that can change the game. We're down by 30. I don't know how much he thought 7 points was going to change anything, but he must have thought maybe this was the play that could get us back on track. And boy, was he wrong. He set up, and as he's looking off to the stars, I see a demon coming towards his back. And as it looked like a scene where I should have screamed his name, but I saw it in slow motion and I couldn't get his name out in time. That linebacker, like a bat out of hell, is coming. And clearly, T-Dub peripheral is all blacked out. He's not paying attention. And I tell you, he lifted his arm just an inch to throw the deep ball. And you could tell he thought it was going to be a pretty one. And then that linebacker hit him with a clothesline from hell. All I saw was feet in the air, cleats untied, and he landed on his neck. Football off rolling in the back of the end zone. Linebacker picks it up and he's flexing like he's the new Clay Matthews. I had a frown on my face, man. I couldn't believe what I saw. I never seen somebody hit so hard. You know, I heard Lawrence Taylor was a hitter. I heard Ray Lewis was a hitter. Well, they must have had a son that was playing on that field that day. A fullback. That I was standing on the sidelines when he looked at me. And I'll never forget what he said. He was from down south. He looked at me and he said, "Jackson, they come with that thing tonight." And I sucked my teeth. And he wasn't wrong. They were. But I just didn't feel like that was the time nor the place to say something like that. T-Dub laid on that field for a minute, y'all. He didn't get up. When he finally got up, he had that slow bruh man bop to him. You know, he didn't look as chipper as he usually did. It was like, I called him Hercules, but I bring another Greek mythology story into this. I would say more like Achilles when he got nicked in the heel. You could tell his weakness had been revealed. It was the lack of clock. He didn't have a clock in his head. You know what I'm saying? It was time for him to get a watch. But he was a day late and $1 short. And as he got up and with the coach, I saw his eyes so red, man. Tears running down his face. And all I could think about was that Dark Knight Rises scene. When Bane is holding Batman over his head and he says, "I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body." And you could tell they took his spirit and his body from him all in one play. I sat there And I just shook my head in disgust. I felt like it was a setup, man. T-Dub had to go back out there. I know what y'all thinking. Why? Because didn't I tell y'all the linebacker scored? Aren't y'all paying attention? So he goes back out there, he hands the ball off his halftime. To make matters worse, they bench him. Right? They sit him down. They couldn't put him back out there after that, obviously. He has a concussion. He has whiplash. He can't see straight. And he doesn't have glasses on the sideline, so we got to sit him down, man. We got to. The game got over. We still lost. Y'all figured that out. You know, backup didn't do much better. But we got on the bus and I see him towel over his head. It's dark. You know, ain't nobody talking to him. He looks in sorrow. You know, it looked like he got some real pain on him. And it didn't help that people on the sidelines talking about, I don't even know why coach put him in, man. He shook, man. Lights too bright for the brother. And you know, I'm going to tell y'all something. After you just got the hell hit out of you, last thing you need to hear is complain, complain, complain. You need some sympathy, some tender love and care, some coddling. You know what I'm saying? He needs somebody to rub his head and tell him it's going to be okay. Ain't nobody do that. I promise y'all, nobody even thought twice. People walking up the head coach talking about, don't put him back in. He don't know what he doing. We got back home. Like I said, I didn't play. My jersey still clean, so I wasn't really stressing about nothing. So I went to sleep, woke up next day, thought everything be cool. And that was the first morning I didn't see him get up. He didn't go to the gym. He didn't start the truck. I didn't see no oatmeal on the stove. I didn't want to bother him. You know, I figured he was still trying to get his thoughts together after what happened yesterday. Right? 3 interceptions. A sack fumble for a touchdown. I mean, I'm not an expert. You know, I'm not a QBR rater. But that has to be somewhere from 0 to 10, right? That's not really good numbers at all. So I figured, you know, I done had some bad games back in my day. So I figured I'm going to let him live. You know, people let me live when I had a few. But it got to 4 o'clock and I started to worry. I knock on the door. I'm about to turn the lights on. He said, James, stop. Stop. Stop, my eyes hurt. I'm dizzy. When I tell y'all, man, I said, my fault, dog. My fault. Said, man, you getting up? You want to go somewhere? T-Dub looked at me and said, nah, James, I'm just doing some thinking. I mean, y'all, let me tell y'all something, man. He had been thinking since 8 o'clock that morning. I mean, he been thinking all day, right? Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I went back to my room, pondering the thought, like, what could dog be thinking of? He been thinking all day. And he thought all night, too. Got to the next day, I figured everything was gonna be okay. You know, the great ones, they shake back. They shake back. You know what I'm saying? A couple bad games ain't gonna hurt nobody. We seen Tom Brady have some bad games. He gonna be all right. But I was wrong, y'all. I was like, I've never been more wrong in my life. I caught him going to class. He said, James, let me holler at you for a minute. I said, what's up, T-Dub, man? I've been looking for you. The stuff he told me, I never forget, man. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I didn't know anybody could be hit this hard. He told me, James, I'm going back home. I'm going back to Utah. Say, what? Going back to Utah? Say, yeah, man, I just don't think this for me no more. Now, look, that was crazy enough. But then I knew he got hit too hard when he said this statement right here. He said, man, I just don't know why they benched me. I knew he was concussed. I knew that man lost some brain cells out on that field. I knew he shouldn't play no more. I knew that was it. 3 interceptions, sack fumble for a loss, and then you didn't even listen to coach's directions at the least. You sat there directing traffic, and a semi-truck hit you. So what he's telling me, why'd I get benched? You know, they don't bench Tom Brady. And all I could think was, you know, I don't think Tom Brady's ever had a half that bad. Right? But I digress. But I thought he was BSing. So I kind of just waved him off. I was like, man, I ain't worried about him. He'd be fine. He'd be back. You know, he probably took a shot to the pride. We all do. You know, young men trying to play football, we all take some hits. Right? So it got later on in the day, I didn't see him. You know, practice started at 4. You know, he usually here early watching film. Wasn't in that film room that day. Must not have much to watch. I mean, honestly, y'all, after you get beat to hell like that, ain't much to watch. Usually coach just flip through some plays, so I guess he figured he could skip film. I let it skip my mind. So then I got to practice. And you got to understand, I was one of the few people he really talked to. So everybody asked me, hey man, you seen T-Dub? You seen T-Dub? You seen T-Dub? And I said, the only thing I could think to say, I said, well, you know, he got a concussion. The light hurts his eyes. You know, the sun out, God's light. So he at home. He don't want his eyes to hurt. Like what? Like what was I supposed to say, y'all? The only thing I could think. They're like, James, why ain't he here? I was like, the sun's out. Lights hurts his eyes. You know, he can only come out at night. He probably at the house. You know. But even when I said it, I didn't believe it. I thought he'd be there at some point. He didn't show up. He did not go. So practice gets over. We go home to the apartments. I see T-Dub. He chilling. He watching TV. Seemed like he having a good time. Ain't stressing about nothing. And then I saw something I couldn't believe. His bags were packed. The bed was bare. And he was putting up stuff on the pickup truck as we was walking in. He walking out. Said, T-Dub, what's going on? You moving? He said, James, I told you I'm going back to Utah. Let me explain something to y'all, man. The game was on Saturday. Dog said he was leaving on Monday. Thursday, he was gone. When I tell y'all, do you know how hard you have to get hit to change your whole future plans in a matter of 4 to 5 days? A lot of y'all not moved back to Utah. Couple months passed, I saw him a picture. He's working the fields, shucking some corn, it looked like. Got him a nice young lady. 3 more months passed, he was married. Now he's ready to start a family. Look, the moral of the story is, people, 2 things. Got 2 ears and one mouth. You know what I'm saying? Listen more than you talk. And when somebody says something 2-3 times, really shut your mouth off and just listen. Just listen. And maybe you could save yourself some hurt. Second of all, other important story. Look, man, football ain't no joke. They coming with that thing out there. So protect yourself at all times. I'm Ajack 1K. We'll be back with another story time at some point. But please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And y'all already know, man, I'm out of here.